Welcome into the stream, everybody, and welcome into top 4 coverage of the October Monstrously Ugly tournament. We're doing things a little bit different this time around. I was not able to live stream my matchup, however, I was able to record it. So what we're going to be doing is playing back that recording, and I'll be doing commentary on it. We won't have any audio from the match. You may have already seen the result from this in Discord, so I apologize in advance for the spoiler there, but I did have to report the match. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. Yeah. Jump and dive into it. So my opponent this time around was Karura, a very strong opponent from Germany, running Father Jourdain as the Warlord. He has a alt art there. And then I'm running Drasic Berenge, so again, since this is a video, I won't be able to hover over cards and see what they do. So he takes a Nish. I do like my opening hand overall. Meet at the Inn, definitely able to get a couple more cards for me there. I did play the Litany right away because I'm anticipating this being a Davenus deck. It's possible he did run Davenus, but I did not see it in any of the games. So I equipped Litany right away just to be able to play Litany if Davenus came out as that level 5 there. Ended up not being that. He equips a Figurine of Protection. So we have Will-O-Wisp, play Meet at the Inn, just to kind of see what we're dealing with for more characters. So I'm still liking this hand overall. Got a couple level 5s. Never like to see Halo of Secrets out of a dev. Now we're kind of deciding which one to play here. Ravenwild, Dreadfang. Either way, we can spend order for improved invisibility or hold person. Kind of see there. Drasic can tree walk one up if we want to as well. Spoiler alert, I did end up misplaying this. So Queen of Lightning, another really good level 5 Deverinian. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that because I know the Jackals are planar, but he can still take a shot at them and try and collapse my ranks there. I was, however, not anticipating the Halo of Secrets. I kind of forgot that if the card you name is in play, Litany targets, but if the card you name is not in play, it doesn't. It's a little bit weird like that. So he goes and halos that one, so that's one. I mean, I didn't really have an option. If I used Hold Person to tap down the halo, then he still gets to play Queen of Lightning, or use her ability rather, before I am able to take her offline. So he's going to take shots at Jackals, Drasic, and a Stygian Wraith. And I just have to hope for holding ranks that he rolls odd against the Jackals. He does not. He hits that even, so that collapses my ranks. That messes up my plans a little bit, because now I can only play one of my 2 wizard spend orders. And obviously I don't hold ranks as well either then. So he does not hit Drasic, and does not hit Stygian Wraith, but the important thing was taking out the Jackals, and he was able to do that. So now it's my action. We can go ahead and play Ravenwild. So now we have 3 spend orders left in hand, so definitely not the most utilized hand. And now I have to decide here if we want to spend order with Hold Person to stun the Halo of Secrets, taking it offline for next turn, or if we want to play Improved Invisibility on Dreadfang and order him up to help hold ranks. So that's kind of the thought process I'm working through here. He stunned up Taltos Relian. Queen of Lightning falls forward after using her ability, and if you're not familiar with her, I guess I should have explained her before she was used, but it is a spend order, stun Queen of Lightning, do 3+7s anywhere on the field, essentially. There's a little bit more nuance to it, like they add AC equal to the rank they're in as well. But she's definitely pretty powerful and played a major role in this match. And not this game, this match. So we're gonna kill a little bit of time here. I kind of want to see what he has left in his hand before I decide if we're going to play Hold Person or Improved Invisibility. So we're just going to swing at those Dilchant Keepers. So they are able to take down a Stygian Wraith. And here's where we decide we'll throw Improved Invisibility on, just because if he takes down another Wraith, then we only have one more guy up front, so This way we can order Dreadfang forward and have him stun up. Hey, we got Zant Primus subbing. Let's go. 20 months. Thank you, Zant. So here is where I make a little bit of a mistake. I'm thinking I can tree walk Dreadfang up. I completely forgot that you can't target people with improved invisibility. So that has to target somebody within 2 ranks. So I couldn't have played that on a Stygian Wraith because my wizards were so far back. And I just had a little bit of a brain fart where I was like, yeah, we'll tree walk him up. And then immediately forgetting that you can't target somebody who has improved invis on. So we end up just having to order Dreadfang forward, and then he'll stun up to hold ranks. But that does leave us with only a 4th rank instead of a 5th rank as well. And then Ravenwild is stunned going into next turn as well. So that ended up maybe not being the right play. In hindsight, what can you do? I think that was still probably the right move at the time. I did have to hold ranks. I couldn't risk letting him swing on that Stygian Wraith. So, I don't know. Kind of trying to make the best I can with maybe not the best hand, but at least some of the cards were playable. In hindsight, I wonder if I could have tree walked the Ravenwild up with the Stygian Wraith. That maybe would hold ranks better. Well, it certainly would hold ranks better. I know that's not what we do here. So he's gonna move up the figurine, have Taltos come up. And if I'm not mistaken, that's it for the turn. I believe we both had 2 dead cards in hand. He maybe swings with the last Dilchant Keeper here. That's right, he's going to use Father Jordane's ability to make Taltos Relian a planar Stormwraith. So -6 AC, planar against the Stormwraith trait, and then Father Jordane's other ability, again, since I'm not able to hover over the cards to look at them. He's a level 5 Evil Deveranian Cleric. He has Order once per turn per target. Spend Father Jordan or another Stormwraith, have them target an opposing character who suffers -X attack AC and skill equal to the spent target's level. So yeah, he pitched 2 Reflects. I didn't hit any of his guys, so he wasn't able to play those. I pitched Tree Walk and Hold Person because both my wizards are spent. I don't really see that as a viable hand going into this turn. And when I see this hand, I know I'm in trouble. I can play none of these cards. Like, literally none of them. So when I saw this hand, I knew this was pretty much game 1. But after my match with Bobby, where I was done for, Tracek was spent in the front rank with 2 wounds. I almost scooped, but I was like, you know what? Why not play it out? And I ended up winning. So since then, unless I really need to scoop for time, I did just decide to play it out. I mean, who knows? Maybe we can survive the turn. You know, we have 1 more round of improved invisibility. Queen of Lightning is spent. We'll see what we're able to do. I think I did end up making maybe a somewhat poor decision. No, I don't remember. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So we're gonna swing with Stygian just because it's the one thing we can do. So we'll swing at a Dilchant Keeper. Oh, sorry, we swing at Taltos Relian. That's right. And no, we did go on a Dilchant. I do not like playing with devs. I guess in hindsight, I could have played Veiled Passing on that. Didn't really think about that. That would have made no impact on this match, but it's at least something I could have done with that card. I guess. I mean, it's totally in the deck for things like Halo of Secrets and Rescue. So he was able to cancel that strike with use of Justinian. And that Staff of Kazazi is definitely going to be a problem because, again, I can't play any of these cards. What I do end up doing is spending back Drasic. Ravenwild stuns up, and then we can play Purify. I don't know. That ended up I don't want to say costing me this round because I still would have been toast, but that definitely just sealed the deal for me in this matchup. I believe, yeah, so we got the Staff of Kizazi charged up. I told him just go ahead, charge it up. I can't do anything. So he plays out Blitzer. He's going to spend forward Blitzer, and that's when I decide, sure, we'll spend back. We'll try and get a little bit more meat between Drasic and Blitzer, but I did forget about Blitzer's spend order. So yeah, we'll Purify Ravenwild. She's spent, and now that's it for the turn. Can't play anything else. I mean, that's something I addressed earlier in this tournament. That's part of the problem with Drasic, as opposed to someone like Alisara, who can pitch a character to go search for another character. We could have gone and got like a Grihilga here to flip top, see what we can get. We get that 5th rank, you know. We could have gone to get another wizard or something like that to play extensions. Like, Alisara is just so much more versatile than Drasic, but that is the point of the Uglies tournament, is to play warlords that don't see as much play. So with this maneuvering, and he's got quite the army built up now. I know that even if I somehow survive this turn, this isn't something that I'm going to be able to work my way back from. Still not conceding yet, though. So he's going to use Staff of Kizazi to ready Blitzer. And yeah, Blitzer, he's going to do his spend order to take out Will-O-Wisp. He is going to Mass Bless first, though. I forgot about the Mass Bless. And yeah, I always forget about Blitzer's spend order. So I was thinking, okay, Mass Bless, great. Take out the Stygian Wraith. You know, excellent. I don't care. It's a problem for next turn, Blitzer versus Dreadfang, but we'll kind of worry about that when we get to it, completely forgetting about his spend order. And then he spends Father Jourdain to give Will-O-Wisp -5 attack AC and skill. So now we have Blitzer swinging +11 on Will-O-Wisp's 11 AC. There's nobody else in the rank, so Ravenwild is not able to redirect it. And here is where spending Drasic back definitely took its toll. He would be spent in the 2nd instead of stunned in the 3rd. He's still within threat range of Blitzer, but I mean, we can try and work back from that. You know, Blitzer doesn't have the best skill. We can use Drasic's DC 15 to try and push him back, make him move up next turn. Then we're ready in the 2nd. We can play a dragon if we need to. You know, we can kind of work our way through this if Drasic is spent in the 2nd. But being stunned in the 3rd, there's really not a whole lot we can do to come back from this. So he's just gonna move the rest of his guys up, take swings on Stygian Wraith, try and close out the turn. Use Father Jourdain's ability, I believe, to make Lord Jaxanis a Storm Wraith as well. Just gives him more characters to spend to try and debuff guys, since it is once per turn per target. And that's just about it for this turn. So, not the best opening hand, but we played through what we were able to. 2nd turn hand was pretty devastating, and we're just going to have to pitch everything. I mean, it sucks to pitch somebody like Salazar the Gilded, but obviously we're just trying to build back. There's no way we can come back from that. And then looking at this, again, if Drasic was spent in the 2nd, we could spend React, get a dragon into play. We probably wouldn't Tree Walk here. We would just try and get somebody into play, but I go and swing with Dreadfang to try and take Blitzer off the field, and then seeing Diljant Keeper combined with Figurine of Protection, I'm like, let's just go to game 2. That was really my only hope, and then realizing even that there's nothing we can do. He's got Reflect in the deck as well. I just need to maximize my time. Seeing how much his army can get built up, how long it takes for me to sometimes get dragons online. So I think that was about 10-15 minutes in, and I was like, yeah, let's just go to game 2. So we do get Litany in opening hand this time. I think it's definitely a more playable hand. We have Dreadfang once again. QTP in chat. What's up, man? Thanks for checking out the stream. Good to see you here. And then extensions in the opening hand is definitely an important one as well this game. So once again, I throw Litany onto Drasic first action. Still kind of expecting this to be a Davinus deck, but now seeing Queen of Lightning is a culprit as well. So he's going to swing on Stygian Wraith. He's going to miss, but it's even, so he will double Justinian to make it hit. And then we'll blink the Jackals forward. Have to clear out that 4th rank for Bem Condodo. And then it gets a little bit of aggro, a little bit of tempo going up here. He's going to miss, and we'll go ahead and swing on that other Dilchant Keeper. He has used both his Justinians now, so that helps our odds of hitting him as well. He is not able to cancel the strike. He's going to try and defend it now, and he is not able to get that either. So we're going to go ahead and swing on that Dilchant, and that'll take him down. Nat 20 making up for the hands last turn. And then we'll go on the other Dilchant, since he can't cancel or redirect. Unfortunately, that +6 will miss, so we're not able to crush his ranks quite yet, but he is out of Dilchant Keeper swings for the time being. It's going to move Sable Knight forward. And we're going to try and collapse his ranks once again. That'll miss. I'm trying to get Sable Knight stunned because I don't like his react. Yeah, QTP, this was recorded earlier today. I played my match around 1 o'clock, I think, 12:30, something like that, Central Time. And was not able to stream it at the time. So he plays Blade Dancer, which is not one you want to see in a dragon deck. And then he plays Queen of Lightning. So my plan there was to Litany immediately, take Queen of Lightning offline, but he uses Sable Knight, that's his name. Sable Knight's react immediately after playing Queen of Lightning to use her. So he's going to try and wipe out my front rank, and I'm like, crap, if you do that, this game is over too, and there's no way I can come back from that. I just lost this match in 5 minutes, essentially. But we see that odd come in, and then we see the second odd come in, and that is super clutch. So we play Bem Condodo, and now we're kind of in business. He's got Queen of Lightning offline for the turn. So Blade Dancer is just going to stun up. Play out Dreadfang. This way we can spend for extensions, order forward, clearing out that 5th rank to get Grihilga. At the end of this video, by the way, guys, since the tournament is over, I will go through this deck on Untap. Alright, so he's going to play Deceitful Aid, which is on your next order. Skip that order and ready target character. So Queen of Lightning will ready. And I know, once again, he has the possibility of wiping out my front rank. So we're going to play Litany and name Queen of Lightning. We definitely can't have that happen. Yes, I would be able to play Grihilga still, but then Dreadfang can't extensions, and we're definitely just in a worse shape overall. So extensions here, I'm kind of deciding what to take. You know, is Tree Walk really viable here? It is something both Grihilga and Drasic can play. We do get Dreadfang up front doing that. But then Grihilga can't come into play. The rank is clogged. And then Tauren kind of just ends up being the no-brainer here. And we don't want no characters next turn. Don't want the double Tree Walk. Bribe. Minor Miracle's good, but don't want that with the rest. So we'll send them all to deck bottom. And that way when Dreadfang orders forward as well, we have a 3rd rank to play Tauren into, knowing that if we flip top with Grihilga, as long as the card that we would be giving him isn't devastating, I can draw anything and pitch it for Tauren to try and get more value this turn. JT was a huge fan of Drasic. Yeah, he was. JT had a really good Drasic deck, and I think he might have even complained to Phoenix Interactive until they made a Dragon Warlord, something along those lines. I don't remember what it was, but he, I believe, was part of the reason Drasic got printed. So like I said, we'll flip top with Grihilga here. I don't remember what his was. I could turn my camera off real quick. Where is it? Too late. We drew it to him. You know what? It was a Mass Bless. I remember. I was like, yeah, if we get Raven Wild this turn, that's a card we can play. If we draw him into Mass Bless, it does nothing this turn, so he'll have to hold it into next turn. So he either pitches a Mass Bless, which I'm okay with. He plays it this turn and gets no value out of it. or holds it into next turn, and I essentially just was able to draw a card without giving him anything. So we're able to play Ravenwild there and then maneuver everybody forward. And we're definitely in a better position going into turn 2 than we were in game 1. I see this hand, and I'm a little bit, not panicky, but just not happy with it at first until I realized that we can use Drasic and Bem to get Storm Chaser into play. We can use Grihilga to flip top and try and find something. We've got improved invisibility, hold person, and then realizing that I do have the spend reacts to reduce the levels on those 2 high-end dragons. I'm a little bit more excited about this hand. All we're missing is Tree Walk, right? So we're going to go ahead and start by flipping top with Grihilga, and here I can turn my camera off. So his is a Teamer. And I do kind of have to decide here, but Litany is really good. Ultimately, Teamer isn't going to do much more than hold ranks for him, and I decide Litany is too good to give up. So I'm still kind of struggling here to figure out what to pitch for Tauren, if anything, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll spend react with Bem first, just in case Queen of Lightning is somehow able to take him out or somehow able to collapse my ranks. I want to have him be the one that's stunned instead of Drasic. So he's going to go ahead and swing on Dreadfang. He did Mass Bless if you missed that. And I'm deciding here if I want to redirect with Ravenwild or if we want to let Dreadfang tank it. And he does end up hitting on the dot. So now I'll spend react with Drasic to play Storm Chaser. And here's where he was starting to say, well, that might be too much meat for me to chew through. And I'm thinking with his Queen of Lightning text, I wouldn't be too concerned about chewing through a Storm Chaser, as much plainer as he is making with Father Jourdain as well. But I do still have the Litany in hand. I could have played Litany and forced the Queen of Lightning early, but I just wanted to make sure we could get the 2 high-end dragons into play first before any sort of rank shenanigans took place. So Prioress Sophique, always a good card for devs. It's going to go find a card and put it on top. I'm definitely liking how this army is looking much better compared to turn 1. So we will go ahead and play Litany on Drasic. I thought about putting it on Grihilga, just in case he did exhaust me equipping it, but I decided to put it on Drasic because seeing that Nodwick, I assume he's running Litany too, and I don't want him to take my Litany offline if I put it on Grihilga. So he's going to use Queen of Lightning here. He's going to go after Drasic, Bem, and Dreadfang. So that was on Drasic, I believe, or Bem, I don't remember. Either way, both of them miss because they do add, it's a +7 strike, and then they add the rank that they're in to their AC. So both of them sitting at 14 AC in rank 3. That roll plus the strike is a 14 on the dot, but they add the 3 AC for being in rank 3. And I'll miss Dreadfang as well, so that's a straight up whiff from Queen of Lightning. And I decide to pitch Hold Person with Tauren. Ultimately, I feel like that is the lowest value card in my hand. And now this is a tough decision. We ultimately do get the Tree Walk, but I see that next turn is going to be a lot of fun as well. Salazar the Gilded and Selene in hand. But even though Drasic is spent, we have Grihilga that can Tree Walk. So she can send Storm Chaser up to the front. And obviously he doesn't know I have Tree Walk yet, so we're going to swing on a Dilchant Keeper. Try and get those reacts off the board first, so that those reacts are wasted on a Stygian Wraith Strike instead of a +14 from Storm Chaser. So he's not able to get either of them, but the important thing is Dilchant Keeper has now reacted, Doesn't really even matter that we missed. Again, we just swung to get those reacts off the board and get a spent Stygian Wraith to kind of squeeze all the value that we can out of it before we move it back. He's going to swing again, and we'll let it through. No Ravenwild react. He's going to miss this time. I am still going to try and use Stygian Wraith to get rid of the Dilchant Keeper, just since they're mostly effective against level 1s, and we are able to get it that time around. This is funny, though. He exhausts the react from Stygian Wraith. So they don't inflict wounds when they hit, but they react to D-level. Since he's spent to attack, he exhausts that, so even though we hit that, that Stygian Wraith stays alive. He's going to stun up Prioress Sophique. And here is where the fun begins. We'll tree walk that Storm Chaser forward. So now we can go after those Dilchant Keepers and Blade Dancer. Actually, I think what I decided to do is, because Blade Dancer's AC is so high, it's printed high with Mass Blessing, we're just going to send the DC 23 at him. With only 3 skill, he's going to need a 20 to succeed anyways. Almost gets it. Thank goodness those Justinians are offline. So that shuts him down for next turn as well. I can send those plus 14s at the Dilchant Keepers, try and get rid of them, because with Blade Dancer having 3 hit points, my last strike being a plus 6, it's pretty unlikely that we can finish him off this turn. I just want to get rid of those Dilchant Keepers now that they've reacted. So he's going to reposition his ranks a little bit, but we'll go ahead and go at that first Dilchant. That's a 20, that'll take him down, sitting at 17 AC. That's kind of a wait and see what comes up. It's Prioress, which he has used his order on. I believe he did that, I don't remember if it was this turn or last turn, but that planar is going to be a little bit tricky to chew through. We send the plus 14 at Blade Dancer just to put a wound there. I feel pretty confident that this plus 6 can hit Dilchant Keeper, and we were able to get it. He tries to reflect it, so it's a DC 15 plus Father Drain skill, which is a 9. And Storm Chaser sitting at 15 skill needs a 9 or better to succeed, and he does so with Flying Colors. So now I'm starting to plan for next turn as well, knowing that we have Salazar the Gilded that's coming into play, and Selene in hand. I want to keep that 6th rank to know that we can get a 7th level character into play, plus trying to get Night Scale in for the turn. So we'll order Ashrain forward, so he'll fall, creating that 4th rank for Night Scale to come into play in 5. We have improved invisibility left over, which we'll put on Drasic, so Queen of Lightning can't target him next turn. It would have been nice to get that on before the Queen of Lightning strike this turn, but again, I was just trying to build my ranks while I still could. So we'll order Night Scale forward here, stunning Ashrain all the way up. That way, I know I have somebody I can kill in the 2nd rank with Salazar the Gilded to be able to play Selene there if we don't get her in at 9. Playing improved invisibility on Drasic also means that I'm not able to play Litany, because that does target if the character is in play, but I figure that was a worthwhile sacrifice to keep Drasic protected for a turn. So we saw 4 of them. What's that last card going to be? And it is an Exhaustion. So we've got that Extensions that Ravenwild can play as well. Hold Person to spend Father Jourdain. So there's a lot that we can do here. Can flip top with Grihilga as well. I'll be ready to turn off my camera so we can see his deck. Because I don't remember. Did I do that early this turn? I know he won initiative here. So he's going to Mass Bless again. That gets that Blade Dancer's AC all the way up to 23, so that's why I didn't want to send the plus 6 at it from Storm Chaser. Not very likely of hitting him at that point. That's right, we went ahead and exhausted Father Jourdain for that. Just in case he needed to be ready for anything. I mean, obviously he can't debuff now. So we've got a few options on the table. We can Tauren, we can Grihilga. We can play extensions with Ravenwild, but that's right. We play extensions first because that lets us look at the top 5 to know if we want to send them to deck top or bottom. And then that also lets me know what to get with Grihilga. Or what I'm going to get if I keep them on top. So incentives is kind of a finisher for me. I don't necessarily need that quite yet. Not really loving any of my options here until I kind of do some math and I'm like, wait a minute, if we play Salazar in 7, then if we get Bribe, we can play Selene in 9. I don't have to kill Ashrain, which is going to be my primary planar killer here with his spend order. So I'm like, yeah, I think Bribe is the play, because then we can just hardcast Selene, essentially, without having to use Salazar and kill a dragon to get her into play. Wait, I took incentives there? I honestly have no recollection of doing that. I guess I wasn't thinking. I know I did wind up with Bribe this turn. I guess we got it off of Grihilga. Or maybe Tauren. I guess, stay tuned, and then we'll see. Clarion is a really good one in his deck because that can ready a stunned Queen of Lightning. So now we use Grihilga. So we'll see what his top card is here. And his is going to be Oh Cool the Defiant. So once again, I have to decide, is him getting a character into play going to be that consequential? If we draw Hold Person, we can pitch it with Tauren, but ultimately we did decide to discard those because that takes 3 hit points off the table. I think Oh Cool has 3, maybe 2. But realizing that I have a Hold Person in hand already that Salazar can play, I think I did ultimately pitch Hold Person for Tauren. Maybe that's how we got Bribe. So we'll order Ashrain forward. We'll have Nightscale fall, just so in case he kills the Stygian Wraith, somehow Ashrain doesn't end up stunned, because that is a Blade Dancer killer. Blade Dancer would kill Ashrain stunned. So he'll play Mollusk Helm, and here's where we will go ahead and play Salazar the Gilded. So Mollusk Helm is essentially Grihilga on a stick. It's Cleric. Grihilga's ability. Both players flip top. You decide if all cards are drawn or discarded. Level 8 Cleric Helm. For those just tuning into the stream, this is game 2. Karura is up 1-0. Just got Salazar the Gilded into play. Oh, we just lost a viewer when I said that. People not a fan of me being down, apparently. You may want to leave the stream then. Spoiler alert. So we get another Taltos Reliant, so he's getting all these high hit point devs to help him hold ranks. That's right, so we didn't get Bribe. I realized that we can react with Bem to get Selene into play. That's what we did. So once we get Selene into play, he uses Mollusk Helm to flip top. His is Staff of Kazazi, so he has to decide if we're going to draw those or discard them. Minus Paymaster Core. Excellent for building ranks, but definitely not something that we need right now. Or really ever again at this point in the game. So we're just going to go ahead and ditch Paymaster Core with Tauren, and we're going to see what our top cards are. Now, what did we get here? I think... yeah, we took Exhaustion because he just grabbed Staff of Kazazi. We can exhaust him equipping that. So now he's not able to get the Staff of Kazazi. So now Salazar will spend to play Hold Person to stun Father Jourdain. He tried to defend with Temur, but we had this come up in my round 1 match against Graham. The spend order is to target a lower level spent character, and since Temur's not spent, he's not actually a legal target and can't defend it. So that will stun Father Jourdain and take off Clarion. And at that point, he just decided to scoop. He said, I had too many dragons in play, having Salazar and Celine. He just wanted to go to game 3. And at this point, game 3 in a playoff match, the timer is off. And I know it's pretty much up to my draw, whether or not I'm going to win. Once again, Drasic can have good draws or he can have absolute whiffs. And I'm feeling pretty good about this hand at this point. All playable characters. We can stun up a couple dragons to hold ranks if we need to. We can keep one back in 6. Blackwind can hold person on anybody that he's going to play. So we don't have Litany here, but overall I still like the hand. So he gets initiative there. A nat 20 will do that. I think he plays a level 4 right away. No, level 3. So he gets Lord Jaxonis. That's right. He didn't have a level 4 in his opening hand here. So now he's going to spend back Jaxonis. So we get Ravenwild and Shadowblaze. Knowing that Queen of Lightning may be coming, we will try and get ranks as fast as we can. And no Queen of Lightning yet, so I'm pretty pleased with that. It's a Ged Morak, so we'll just go ahead and stun up Shadowblaze. Have to clear out that rank 6 for Blackwind, obviously, so we're just going to try and hold ranks. So we'll send him all the way up to rank 2. That's right, I'm deciding here if we blink the Jackals forward to attack, or if we stun Shadowblaze up, and I decide ultimately stunning him up is the smarter move. So then he'll stun up Ged Morak. Now we can play out Blackwind. And there's Queen of Lightning. And he told me after this match, he only runs one copy of Queen of Lightning, and he got it in his opening hand all 3 games. So that's wild. We'll spend order, withhold person to spend Queen of Lightning. That'll take her offline for this turn. He gets here, he equips Staff of Kazazi, and I decide to spend him for that. Exhaustion could definitely have a higher upside play later on. But I know that just getting it out of my hand, so then he can't use any charges on Staff of Kazazi is the right thing to do. So we have Wisp play that, so then Stygian Wraith can swing on a Dilchant Keeper. He is not able to defend, but he uses Justinian to successfully cancel the strike. So now he'll swing on a ready one, and he'll go down. So we'll swing with our last one here. That'll miss. Oh no, he was not able to cancel or defend. So then we swing and that will hit. And now I'm knowing here Jackals in rank 4 is most definitely my weak link. In hindsight, this was not the right move. I should have blinked the Jackals up to 1. Oh no, okay, that's right. I was thinking I ordered Blackwind forward, had him stun up to 4. But what we did was just order him forward 1 and have everybody fall. Because Jackals being in rank 4, like I said, is my weak link from Queen of Lightning. She can just collapse those ranks. So I knew I wanted more hit points there. And then I was hoping from here I could blink the Jackals back to 6, just in case we got a level 7 or 8 next turn. Not able to do that since the Stygian Wraith did go down. I wanted Blackwind ready for next turn, just in case we got another hold person or something along those lines. I still feel pretty good about this hand. I know it's going to be a little bit tricky to get Grahilga into play, but we have extensions, Siren Spawn we can play. I'm not a huge fan of incentives in this hand. Like I said early on, it's my finisher, so not the highest value card, but I'm just going to try and swing with the Stygian Wraith. Again, while we still can. That maybe wasn't the best move. Probably should have played extensions right off the bat, now that I think about it. Try and see what those top cards are going to be to know, A, what we're looking at, what we need to maybe try and hold ranks for, And then if we are able to get Grihilka into play, what that top card may be. Not to mention having the Staff of Kazazi, we want to just try and get cards out of our hand. And he remembered here that he forgot to react with Gedmorak. He asked if it's okay to go back and do that, and I said, for sure. It's a mistake. It wasn't, I don't think, too far past the trigger. So he named Treewalk with Gedmorak. So that's not one we can play this turn. It did end up biting me a little bit, but I mean, I didn't want to be a jerk about it. I mean, he did miss the trigger by a little bit, but I thought it was fine to get it in. I was just glad he said Treewalk and not extensions. So we see Sable Knight come in. And that is not a fun one. We will extensions with Raven Wild now. We'll look at those top 5. So we've got 2 dragons, 2 Meet at the Inns, and Treewalk. I decided to grab Meet at the Inn here because I wanted to get both those dragons, and I didn't want to Meet at the Inns next turn. In hindsight, forgetting that they can go on the bottom here, maybe I could have grabbed Verdigris. But I guess so. My plan was to grab Meet at the Inn to draw those next 2, and then flip top with Grihilga to ditch the other Meet at the Inn. So that would burn a card for him, and essentially burn 2 cards for him. If I discard the Meet at the Inn, yeah, then I don't get to draw one, but it doesn't give him one. So that was kind of my thought process behind that. We do play Meet at the Inn now just to try and get those 2 dragons into hand. And that'll give him a card as well. So unfortunately, we are getting more cards into hand with that Staff of Kazazi on the field as opposed to less cards, but what are you going to do? So here, he is going to spend the Sable Knight, who he used Father Jourdain to make the Sable Knight a Storm Wraith, and then react with Sable Knight to debuff Drasic. So -4 attack, AC, and skill. And that is definitely going to be a problem from Queen of Lightning. So we ordered Blackwind forward, had him fall. I really didn't think that's what I did there. Oh, I know. That's right. Okay. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and use Queen of Lightning. He's going to go at Blackwind, Drasic, and Jackals of Morn. So Drasic, obviously the big target here. Debuffed AC, not the best. That'll most definitely hit Blackwind. And he has both those Justinians online as well for Queen of Lightning. 14 will hit Drasic with that debuff, unfortunately. And then Morn Jackals. Hits even, they go down. So now I've got Blackwind stunned in 2. So we'll play Bribe. And do that or Drasic? Or Grihilga? Think I can kind of see my gears turning here, being like, okay, if we react with Drasic and play Bribe, we can get Night Scale into 3. So that's what we do here. Gets 2 cards out of hand for Staff of Kazazi as well. And overall, this is still a pretty high value hand. We've got Grihilga, Siren Spawn, and Verdigris. Again, even if Incentives is more of a finisher, it's something we can at least play here, since Grihilga is a cleric that can cast it. So I don't remember, is he passing here? No, he's charging up the staff, but it was not showing up on my screen. That's what it was. So there's all 3 of those charges. So I'm just trying to unload my hand while he's charging up the staff. So we got all our dragons into play. Can't Treewalk him forward due to Gedmorak, but we don't have Treewalk in hand anyways. Yet. So we'll order Night Scale forward, have Blackwind stun on up, and that'll get Night Scale 1 step closer to stealthing in next turn. Accidentally spent them. Moves forward ready. Not sure. That's right. Lord Jaxanus moved up. Gedmorak will stun the rest of the way up. And we use Grihilga soon. I know that, so I'm ready to turn off the camera again to see what his card is. No, Grihilga plays incentives. That's right. Get that card out of our hand for Staff of Kazazi. And then we're going to have... we're trying to decide here if we want Blackwind and Shadowblaze to suffer wounds or not. Knowing that incentives... excuse me, is strikes generated from a spell, it ignores Planar on Gedmorak. So we decide to have Shadowblaze and Blackwind both suffer wounds until we quickly remember that because Blackwind is stunned, he cannot make a power attack check. In hindsight, I probably should have spent Night Skill forward, since his attack is higher than Shadowblaze anyways, or he would be spent, unlike Blackwind, so a little bit more flexibility there, but it does get that last card out of our hand. Unfortunately, he is able to cancel a strike. He's able to defend the other strike. So not quite the high value card Incentives has been throughout the rest of the tournament for me, but I knew I just had to get it out of my hand. There was no way I could hold that to next turn and let him get 4 more charges on the staff. I just knew that would be more beneficial for him than myself, especially if he failed these defend checks here and we were able to throw a couple of wounds on Gedmorak, who was going to be causing some problems for me. So he was deciding here if he wanted to use the 2 Justinians to make that strike miss. We'll see why a little bit later on, why he was deciding if he wanted to save the Justinians or not. So we'll go ahead and stun Siren Spawn all the way up. Have Verdigris kind of hold down the fort back there. As good as my army looks right now, it is a little bit rough that I don't really have actions I can take. And he still has 4 cards in hand. So it's an exhaustion and a meet at the inn. I do decide to discard those. I figure that getting rid of an exhaustion could be beneficial for me for sure. And like I said, I knew that meet at the inn was on top after playing extensions, so I kind of figured that was one we would discard with Grihilga going into next turn. So he plays a Mass Bless here, which is a little bit confusing to me. I don't exactly know why he did that. He has the Dilchant Keeper that can swing, but that's about it. I guess he can ready Sir Taltos Relian with Staff of Kazazi, so that's probably why he did that. But we'll go ahead and stun up Drasic, or not Drasic, Verdigris, just to try and get him a little bit forward. So he's going to start maneuvering some more guys forward here to get his Tauren into play. So he's going to pitch Reflect. Not doing him a whole lot of good this game. Had 2 of them in his opening hand game 1 that he couldn't play. Played it against Storm Chaser for no effect, so he'll discard it to Tauren here. And I'm still feeling like I'm in pretty good position here. Queen of Lightning is stunned, so theoretically she's offline for a couple turns. Dracek does have a wound, but we've got things like Litany and improved invisibility that can help us, and now I know I'm in trouble. He plays Deceitful Aid to ready Queen of Lightning. Or rather, that will ready her next turn, or next action. So I think I passed, and then he just went ahead and used her right away. So he'll go on Siren Spawn, Dracek, and Shadow Blaze. So that will miss Siren Spawn, but Dracek is the important role. And the reason he targets characters in the same rank as Dracek is because Ravenwild can no longer redirect them, since Queen of Lightning can't target the same character more than once. And unfortunately that will hit Dracek. So now we are down to 1 hit point left, and just right before the Deceitful Aid, feeling pretty good about this matchup. Now knowing I'm in pretty big trouble now. That last strike will miss. I forget where it went. He plays a meat at the end, and this is where I know I'm in even more trouble now. Again, from that extensions, we knew that Tree Walk was on top, and Ged Morak said that Tree Walk is a card we cannot play this turn. Even if that were the case, we don't have any clerics that can play it. Dracek and Grihilga are both spent, and Verdigris is stunned. So the only action left I can really take is moving Nightskill forward, but I'm holding him back in the second rank, just in case whoever he is able to ready doesn't swing at Nightscale. I'm kind of thinking at this point that stealthing him in and getting lucky is my best option. I also forget that I played Incentives about 8 minutes earlier, and I was hoping that I could get Nightskill in and play Incentives, since that's usually my finisher. But again, for forgetting that I had played Incentives already. So keep Nightskill in rank 2 for the time being. He's able to play Prioress and go get a card as well, so that also helps him for next turn. And when he's deciding which card to go get, we run into a bit of a rules question. So I'll actually open Discord here so I can read some of the responses we got. He was asking that if you play Deceitful Aid to ready somebody, if the Sable Knight can immediately react and essentially use that react to skip your next decree, if that makes sense. Because Sable Knight is react after one of your Deveranians performs an order, you can perform a decree, and then Deceitful Aid is spelled order target a character on your next order, skip that order and ready that character. So he was just kind of wondering if those two things coincided or not. So we paused play, which there wasn't really a timer that we had to pause, but we went to rules chat. Where was it? So I said, with Deceitful Aid, can you use Sable Knight to react and use that decree to immediately ready? Based on some previous answers that Sanjington had found, and based on the way Marco and I were leaning, we were thinking it was a no. And that seemed pretty set in stone based on the answers, so that's how we played it. So he didn't go get Deceitful Aid this time around. It ended up not mattering, since the card he got ended up working just fine as well. And honestly, he probably didn't need the speed from Deceitful Aid. Either way, if he played it, I'm probably toast. So we ended up just playing it as if that did not work. We got a response from Iceman later that yes, it does work. Somehow, because it doesn't generate a strike, it is viable. I don't understand that at all. I think the wording is the same, strike or not. But that's the way that it was ruled, again, later on. So it didn't impact this match, but we do take just a couple minutes here to kind of dig through it and just make sure we get what we believe is the proper ruling. Don't honestly have that much commentary while we're looking for rules. I mean, shout out to Sanjington. He found that ruling really quick. Went back and found a past ruling using the Sable Knight. I forget what it was. I think it was Unerring Shot was the other one that was in question there. If Sable Knight can react to skip through that. And somehow because that one generates a strike, it was no. But here, here because it doesn't, it's okay. Again, don't really understand that. That's the way it was ruled, and it didn't impact this match. And then I knew we had a few people spectating as well, so I just asked in the chat if anybody wanted to go take a look at it. That's when Sanjington went back and found those rulings. Because this video is embedded in my stream, it's not like I can skip forward to actions. We just have to sit through it. And it wasn't that long. It only took us a couple minutes since we were already leaning towards no, it doesn't work. That's just the way we ended up playing it. So he was just deciding, again, this is deciding with Prioress Sophique what he wants to go get and put on top of his deck for next turn. So he still, as well, in play this turn, has Staff of Kazazi with 4 charges. He can ready Taltos Relian. He can ready anybody that he wants to move up, just as long as they're level 4 or lower. The only thing that we can do is move up Night Scale. I mean, I guess theoretically we could maneuver Will-O-Wisp, but there's really no point to that. And again, for having such an army of dragons, it just sucks to be in the position of Drazek can get sniped from anywhere on the field. I pretty much know at this point that I need Minor Miracle or Improved Invisibility, and knowing that Gedmorak can take those offline next turn, just knowing that we're in a pretty rough position. So this is where Sanjington found the answer from a previous question, and we decided to just go with that ruling. So he'll stun forward the Blade Dancer. He will ready it with Staff of Kazazi, removing those charges. Knowing that he readied Blade Dancer with it and Night Scale can't get striked, we'll move him forward. And again, knowing that Blackwind is about to die from that, Blade Dancer is Spend Order, kill target stunned character within 2 ranks. So from back there, he can just Spend Order to take Blackwind out of the game. I told him he could just charge the staff back up too, since I'm not able to play that card in hand and don't have Torrent to discard it. Here's where I'm like, did I play incentives? Oh crap, I did. And then I'm like, oh, now we're in trouble. Remembering that I don't have incentives. So again, we need Minor Miracle or Improved Invisibility. Next turn, that is. Oh yeah, right there he just remembered that he forgot to take his card from the face down pile and put it back on top of the deck from Prioress Sophique. So yep, Blade Dancer will Spend Order to kill Blackwind. Man, I'm not loving this post-match commentary. I like trading back and forth, talking with my opponent, and not trying to fill the void of silence with my voice, because it is exhausting. My throat is so dry. And for a normal match, I wouldn't have done this, but for a top 4 match, I figured win or lose, we'll record this video and try and get it out there. And I think that's the way I'll approach this going forward as well. For a regular tournament round match, if it doesn't work to stream it, we'll just let it be. unless for whatever reason it's a really crucial match. But if we make top 8, top 4 championship, we're not able to stream it, but we can record it. I will try my best to do that and do this play-by-play again. And I guess I'll just have like one of those big like hamster bottles that I'll just have a non-stop stream of water next to me. So he's kind of just repositioning his ranks here to close out the turn. He does have one more strike with Dilchant Keeper if he so chooses. I guess something I could have done here was order Shadow Blaze back to get Siren Spawn up front. I don't really feel like that would have been consequential, but it is theoretically an action I could take. I maybe should have moved Will-O-Wisp back to get Verdigris forward a rank. Hindsight, that really didn't matter. Ended up not mattering, but it is something I could have done here just to kind of reposition, get all my dragons up front as best as I can. They are stunned, so it's not like we missed out on strikes going into next turn, though. So he'll swing with Dilchant Keeper. Now, where are we going? Does he go for Stygia here? So Tauren will reposition as well. Yep, so we'll go for Stygian Wraith, and he will get that even. I think. I'm like 80% sure. And because of the Mass Blessing, that'll be a 9, so that'll take down Stygia. So we'll pass. I'll discard Tree Walk. Figure it's not really worth playing this turn, even if we are able to. So Drasic is no longer debuffed, which is good, but he's able to draw the card that he needs with Prioress, or that he went and got with Prioress Sophique. He has Tauren to go find whatever else he needs. And when I see this hand, I know it's game. Even with that being said, there's maybe something I can do here. I do make a pretty big mistake here. So here is where he's deciding what he wants to nuke with Gedmorak, because Gedmorak reacts after initiative. He used Justinian as well to turn his 7 into a 9, so he wins initiative here. Now he's just deciding with Gedmorak what to say. He was leaning towards Minor Miracle, just in case I had that in the deck, which I do. So I couldn't play that on Drasic to reduce the wounds from Queen of Lightning. What else was he deciding? He forgot in this decision-making process that I run Improved Invisibility, because if I had that in hand and threw it on Drasic, that would be probably not GG, honestly. As many characters as he has, as much planar as he has, even Improved Invisibility here may not have won me the game throwing that on Drasic. So yeah, here's where he said Minor Miracle, and he's like, oh no, maybe not. We'll go with something else. What did he go with, though? I honestly don't remember. Because it wasn't Minor Miracle, it wasn't Improved Invisibility. What was it? Hold Person. That's right. He said Hold Person, just in case I had that in hand, to try and stun Queen of Lightning or spend her down after she readies. That is, however, only lower level, and I don't have anybody in play that can target Queen of Lightning or Father Jourdain with that. So here's where I make the mistake. I'm like, okay, I know he can ready Queen of Lightning, so I have to use Grihilga to flip top and hope that we get Minor Miracle. That's the only way I'm going to survive. His action, by the way, was playing Deceitful Aid to ready Queen of Lightning on his next action. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, he played Deceitful Aid, Next action, he gets to strike with Queen of Lightning. But then I was like, wait, crap. I could have played Litany, Queen of Lightning readies, and then we use Litany, naming Queen of Lightning. So I guess that would have actually ended up having an effect, that ruling, because we would have played it as after the decree, he can't use Sable Knight to react and use Queen of Lightning. I hope I'm making sense here. In other words, had I played it that way, that ruling would have had an effect. The way I misplayed it, that ruling didn't have an effect. So had I played Litany first, the way we were understanding the ruling, I could have then played it to take Queen of Lightning offline for the turn. However, the way the ruling is worded, he could have used Sable Knight to use Queen of Lightning immediately. So what looks like a massive mistake at the time, and I felt horrible for making it, ended up being pretty inconsequential, which definitely makes me feel better about this loss. So he's going to miss Verdigris. Really wish he would have had that 5 against Drasic. And he's just going to go for the kill with Queen of Lightning before even debuffing me at all, either. Unfortunately, that will hit, and there's nothing we can do about it. So Drasic goes down. Again, I used Grihilga to try and get Minor Miracle off the top of the deck, hoping that could save me. But hats off to Karura for the win. Feeling really hot about this game going into Game 3. Had the momentum coming off of Game 2. I had all the dragons in play. Game 3. He had told me ahead of time, too. He's like, I auto-lose to dragon decks. That's too much meat for me to chew through. I'm like, bro, you can just snipe me across the field with Queen of Lightning. So, I mean, all the readying tech that he had for her... crap. Sorry, I didn't want you guys to look at my decks too long. I forgot I backed out of that game. Again, hats off to Karura for the win. Queen of Lightning getting her opening hand all 3 games was crucial. That definitely helped him win this game. But that's not the only reason he won the game. He had plenty of ways to dig and go get her. Meet at the Inn, Tauren, Pryra, Sophique. He had plenty of readying tech between Clarion, Deceitful Aid, and things along those lines. And just ways to continue to utilize her once he got her to go across the board. So yeah, if he didn't get her, it's a different game, but that's the way it is. It's a RNG game, both with random decks, random dice rolls. So congratulations to Karura for the win, and good luck in the championship. Before we close down, though, I do want to go through my Drasic deck. This is not something I've ever done before after a tournament, but I also haven't made it this far in a tournament before. So I figure, why not close this out by going through it. So in play, I mean, you've all seen the start. We got Drasic, Will-O-Wisp, and Stygian Wraith. So for actions... Oh, I have this a little bit mismatched. It got all out of order because Graham wanted it alphabetized. I usually have characters on one side and actions and items on the other. So we got 2 meat at the inn, not 3 of them. I don't love them if I don't have to use them, just because it does give my opponents a card as well, but getting 2 cards is always nice. So we ran 2 of them just to kind of fill out my actions and item slots. I run 1 Dragon's Lair, just to kind of help reduce the levels of characters as well, getting them into play. Tauren, hands down, amazing. Yeah, he is tricky to get into play with the Jackals start, but we can always stun up the Jackals to get Tauren into play if we have to. Hate meat at the end unless you're playing a Golden Gun deck. Yeah, I mean, 100% same. I don't play meat at the end outside of Dragon Ranching, but a lot of times you just need as many cards as possible to build ranks. It's kind of like Golden Gun. You're looking for those pieces of the puzzle, and you just need anything you can to get it into play. Back Alley Tavern is really good, too. I used to play that a lot. It is nice with dragons, because they can spend order for a back alley, and then order to stun up. But I just find, whenever I play it, I don't play people who are drawing cards. But back alley is very good as well. Paymaster Core is excellent, because he comes into play in any rank. So he's great for building ranks, and he's 2 hit points. I've played him in the front to hold ranks before. It works out. Bem Condodo is, I mean, an easy include. Nightscale Dreadfang, the only 2 level 5 dragons. And yeah, we're not counting Shadowblaze because he comes in at 6. But one thing I'm really looking forward to from Kingswood is getting more of a dragon gradient. I know they did say they're going to be doing a lot more faction dragons and not just straight up mercs, but I'm still looking forward to not getting all high-end dragons, getting a few more that we can kind of scale up to. So Night Scale is awesome because of stealth. It does suck not being a wizard. He can't do a lot of the wizard stuff that dragons can. But overall, I mean, being a stealth dragon and only needing a 4 to succeed has been amazing. He has won me a lot of games. He can cancel strikes. He's just amazing. Dreadfang is okay. I mean, he's got 3 hit points. His react is kind of fun. Has thrown some extra wounds on there. But he's kind of just filler. Ravenwild is really good for redirecting strikes. And Grihilga is another cleric in the deck, so she can do things like Tree Walk and incentives. Her ability isn't all too bad either. We've got Siren Spawn. So I have a power 2 of level 6s, and I think a power 3 or power 2 of level 7s as well. So Siren Spawn and Ebon Scourge are my 2 auto-include level 6s. Once you hit level 6 for dragons, you run into a few more options. You've got guys like Shadow Blaze. What's the dead one? I don't remember his name. I can picture him. He's like a carcass worm. So Siren Spawn is, once again, amazing. +7 for 2 wounds. That can go as a +4 for 2 more wounds is outstanding. He's pretty much an auto-include in every dragon deck. Same for Ebon Scourge, because you can stun him up to rank 1, and the next turn he can still do his order for 2 wounds. And then Scribe is an oft-forgot ability about him. I usually don't use it, but it's nice that it's on there. So Siren Spawn and Ebon Scourge are my 2 auto-include at level 6. Blackwind I like to throw in there as well. He's pretty much just a stat stick. I hardly ever use a spend order. Unless you're going up against something like Adarami, it's just too low value. You got 2 +9 strikes. The likelihood that more than 2 guys are going to fail DC 14s is pretty low. So for being level 6, his spend order is pretty weak, but I just like the 2 strikes, 4 hit points, 18 AC. And then Shadow Blaze, being able to copy a spend order primarily on Ashrain is a lot of fun. He can copy Terror Shard, Verdigris, or Siren Spawn as well in this deck. So he is a fun include. So Verdigris, yeah, in my mind I have a power 2 of level 7s. Verdigris is fun as well. He's kind of in that maybe power 3. But dragons that can range strike. I know Siren Spawn is better because he does additional wounds, but Verdigris can generate more strikes because he can do 3 of them instead of 2. He does a +7, and then +7s at each adjacent. Excuse me. And they spend in addition to wounding. So his spend order, again, it only does 1 wound, but it's still pretty good. And just because not many dragons do range strikes, a lot of times you have to chew through that front rank, so anything that goes over the top of that is great. Once again, Verdigris is a cleric for this deck, so he can do things like Tree Walk. I haven't had him cast incentives yet. I don't love that he only has 4 hit points. Terror Shard does as well, but he's just way too high value to care about that. So Causticus is another one to consider just for that 5th hit point. And personally, I prefer Verdigris for the range strikes, and especially in this deck being a cleric. Salazar the Gilded, I don't really feel like I have to do an epic deep dive on him here. You've seen him in play. It's a lot of text to go through, but the big thing we run him for is order kill target level X character. Put an X +2 or lower level character from your hand into play in the target's former location. That helps you get high level characters into play ready. In the front ranks, yes, you have to kill some of your guys to do it, but he has won me countless games. His react is pretty darn good as well. After he targets a strike or spell, destroy an item equipped to the target or discard a card attached. So he can spend order for a hold person, and then spend or stun the opposing warlord, in addition to ripping an item off of them as well. So that's a big reason hold person is in the deck. Shout out to Zant Primus for the suggestion there. And yeah, his order not being once per turn is absolutely busted. It does feel pretty brutal if he's spent and you use his order and get exhausted, because then you just killed something and don't get to put something into play. But that's the risk you run. Terror Shard, double wounding dragon, 2 11s and a 6. That's straight up value right there. Spend order to destroy an item. Usually don't use that, but it is a nice ability to have. Ashrain, I am always disappointed by Ashrain's melee strikes, which means I always end up using Ashrain's spend order. For a level 7 dragon, 2 9s and a 1 is pretty disheartening, but 21 AC, 5 hit points, and then the spend order for 4 DC 23s. It is a great way to kill a warlord. It's a great way to get around planar, or get rid of a brine fiend you just really don't like. Salazar should be level 8. Yeah, Salazar should be level 8. He was very late in 4E though, and late in 4E we got lots of cards that shouldn't be printed. If you want an example of that, go look at Aresh. So now we make it into the level 8s. We've got Pyrothraxis. So level 8 dragon with 3 plus 11s, 23 AC, 5 hit points. Fantastic. Now his order is to move forward or backward 2 ranks, not 1, so that's pretty fun. Doesn't usually impact a whole lot, but it can be beneficial. And then his order, once per turn, target character within 1 rank must succeed with a magic save DC 23 or suffer 2 wounds. The target may destroy any number of equipped items and gains plus 10 to the die roll for each one destroyed. So it's a way to either rip off some items or put 2 wounds on a guy. Usually they'll have 1 or 2 non-consequential items they can discard to make the DC check pretty easy. But if you throw this at somebody without items, a 23 for 2 wounds is pretty baller. Storm Chaser, slightly higher strikes. You got a couple 14s with a lower one and a 6. Even higher AC, and then a DC 23 to stun. That can take a Warlord offline. That can take some other big bangers offline, and then 15 skill, so he's a lot of fun as well. Got Zydpunk in the chat right at the end. What's up, man? And then lastly, we run Selene as the Dragon Lord. If I had to do it over, I would probably run Drasic Resplendent, and here's why. Selene is excellent because dragons can enter play within 1 rank, and that did win me a game. There were also, however, lots of games I wasn't able to get Selene into play because Drasic Resplendent is a dragon. He's the only Dragon Lord that is a dragon, and Drasic only spend reacts with dragons to get them into play. Dragon Slayer only works with dragons to get them into play. So I was only able to play Selene once. Other times I had to get her into play with Salazar the Gilded. I do know, again, she's better for getting other dragons into play since they enter play within 1 rank instead of hard in rank 3. But I do think Drasic Resplendent would maybe be a better Dragon Lord for this list. So then improved invisibility. Even though Drasic isn't a wizard like Alisara, hands down, you need it in a dragon deck to help hold ranks. It is limited to a 1 of in Ancients, and that's why we only have 1 here. Litany of the Dead. This isn't a card I normally play, so this was a fun one to have in the deck. If I had to do it over, I would maybe have 3 of them because it's that good, and maybe even Nodwick to recur them because it's that good. I don't know offhand what I would take out. Maybe Veiled Passing for like a Litany and a Nodwick, but this ended up helping me in a lot of games. Hold Person, once again, that's one that Salazar can play, that's one that dragons can play. It can take somebody like Queen of Lightning offline for a turn, or it can take somebody like General Lund offline for a turn. This is one I started playing around Gen Con, and it's been pretty good. I kind of popped it off in Gen Con at the Turncoat Tournament and in the online Ancients World Championship as a bit of a surprise. So I don't think I'll include it in every deck going forward, but it's been fun these last few months. Incentives. Now we get to the heat. This was, I don't want to say a last minute include, but when I was building this deck, I threw incentives in. I was like, incentives in a dragon deck. That would be pretty funny. Well, incentives single-handedly won me like 3 matches. It was so good. Twice it was when a Night Scale snuck in, did a couple strikes. The Warlord thought they were safe until next turn, then we go boom, incentives, you're dead. The other time was when a Terror Shard with improved invisibility attached, stealthed in, moved back, next turn swung, improved invisibility goes away, and then we're able to close it out with incentives. So this one, yeah, it's not always going to win you games, as you just saw in this video, But overall, I mean, this is another one that's limited to a 1-of. This was a really fun card to have in a dragon deck, especially with a cleric as a warlord. Thinking about this now, it's also a level 3 rogue action. One reason I've never played Yidra as a dragon ranching warlord is because he's a rogue, and there's not a lot of value to be had there. But incentives may be something to consider for those Yidra dragon decks. Veiled Passing because I don't like Deverinians telling me no, and that's the only reason it's in here. I hate Deverinians and their Halo of Secrets and Karen Tremayne and Dilchant Keepers. Get that garbage out of here. I run Veiled Passing just because of them. Minor Miracle, only a 1-of because each of your characters can only perform 1. It's level 5. Drasic is the only one that can play it that starts in play, so we just run 1 of it, but it's pretty good for a little bit of wound reduction. Tree Walk is really fun in dragon decks. I started playing this in Alisara in January out of a druid in the 2nd rank. Drasic is a cleric, so yeah, he does have to spend react to get dragons into play. So it isn't the best value running other spends with him, but I figured at least one more spend order we can fit into the deck in Tree Walk. Once again, other people like Grihilga and Verdigris can play it. Paymaster Core as well, so this one very beneficial in this deck. Purify is fun. Another one that is level 2 is Courage from Faith, if you want to play this off a level 2 cleric that starts in play. But since Drasic is the one to play this, Purify just gives you the extra bonus of removing a card attached to the target and losing poison trait. Usually not that beneficial, not that big of a difference, but since Drasic can play it, I ended up going with Purify. So that's nice because you can stun a dragon forward and then use this to unstun them. They can order forward next turn, whatever it may be. Bribe, I knew I needed 3 of because I can't run Summon Ally since Drasic is a cleric. So Bribe, automatic 3 of. They can enter play into an illegal rank and immediately stun up if you have to hold ranks, or they can just come into play regular with level reduction. And again, this is another reason I'll play Drasic Resplendent instead of Selene, is you can play Bribe and react with Drasic to get Resplendent into 7, whereas you can't react with Drasic to get Selene into play. So even with a Bribe, she's coming into play in 8, which is often still a really hard rank to build up to. Extensions, I ran as a 2 of. Because Drasic can't play this, I only went with a 2 of instead of a 3 of. It is still really good, but you have to get a Dragon or Ravenwild into play to be able to play this. But because we're not running Alisara, who can go find whatever we need, not playing Rise and Obey, I figured Extensions was valuable enough to at least have a couple copies in the deck. And then lastly, we have Exhaustion. I mean, it's a 3 of. You have to play it. You know what it is. It's Exhaustion. You play it because it is that crucial, and guys like Will-O-Wisp, Stygian Wraith, and Morn Jackals can play this while all my other guys are playing higher value spend actions. So that's it. That's the Drasic deck that made top 4. I mean, I know I got lucky to get here. I'm not taking anything away from my own deck, but again, it's an RNG game. Everybody who got here got lucky. So good game to Karura, again, for that match. And best of luck to him and whoever else makes the championship. I do know I won't be able to stream that matchup, but it will either be Iceman or Rain Blythewood, so it should be a good matchup nonetheless. Thanks to everybody who tuned into the stream. Thanks for watching the VOD as well. Be sure to stay tuned for more Warlord Saga of the Storm content.